Hey guys, and welcome to Inet Cyber, the YouTube channel where you can learn about information technology and cybersecurity. My name is Justin, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about starting a home lab and a small introduction into cybersecurity and how a home lab can help you. But not this kind of home lab. The kind of home lab that you can use to brushing up on your IT skills or your cybersecurity skills. Cybersecurity is a fascinating and rewarding field. It also requires a lot of hands-on practice and experimentation. That's why many aspiring and experienced cybersecurity professionals, such as myself, set up their own home labs where they can test and learn new skills in a safe and controlled environment, improve their cybersecurity knowledge, and prepare for certifications. But how do you start a home lab? What kind of hardware and software do you need? And what are some benefits and challenges of running your own mini data center at home? In this introduction video, I will share with you my personal journey of building my IT and cybersecurity home lab from scratch. I will show you what equipment I'm currently using, how I plan to configure it, and what I'm learning along the way. I hope this will inspire you to start your own home lab project and discover joys of tinkering with technology. So first off, I'll talk about my hardware stack that I'm using. When I first started my career in information technology, I immediately created my own home lab, which consisted of older enterprise servers and workstations. These devices were noisy, loud, and at times you couldn't comfortably sit in the same room without going absolutely crazy from the noise. Since my first iteration of my home lab, however, I have rebuilt it several times with different sets of hardware, software, testing out everything I could possible. My latest version of my home lab, I kept the mindset of having a limited budget and space. I didn't want to once again spend a fortune on fancy servers, rack cabinets, nor did I want the noise and heat that they generate, even though this winter in this basement that I'm in, I may very well welcome it. So I opted for some affordable and compact solutions that still met my needs, with the mindset that I would be later connecting this to my public cloud instance in the future. These options are not only budget friendly, but also provide adequate power to run most of the common software found today, such as different hypervisors, vulnerability scanning software, logging and SIM tools, an integrated NAS, and much more. So here's a current list of my hardware stack that I use in my home lab today. For starters, as serving as my firewall and router, I have a Lenovo ThinkCentre M710Q. It's currently running OpenSense, but you can also use pfSense. It's an open source firewall and routing software. It contains a 6th gen Intel i3 processor, 8GB of RAM, and 120GB SSD. I also added another Intel Ethernet adapter for a secondary network interface. It cost me about $50 in total from an online marketplace. While I could have used my older small form factor Dell 3020, and while this Lenovo is honestly probably complete overkill for an open source firewall and router, I was concerned about the power that my 3020 was using, and I also wanted a smaller footprint. I can also in the future mount this thing on the wall, and it's small enough if I wanted a true mini home lab, it would fit right in. Next up, behind me, is my custom built white box server. This is my all-in-one network attached storage server and hypervisor server, which is currently running Proxmox. It has a single 10-core, 20-thread Xeon E5 2640B4 processor, 112 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, and multiple hard disk drives. I use it to store all my files, backups, media, and ISOs. It also runs some virtual machines, some Docker and LXC containers, and in the future, some Kubernetes containers. Without the hard drives, it cost me about $300 in total. You could definitely use pre-built workstations such as Dell, HP, Lenovo's, which come with sometimes less RAM, and you will be perfectly fine. I would, however, recommend at least having 32 gigabytes of RAM, as RAM is more important than a processor when it comes to servers. And finally, I have a simple TP-Link TL-SG108E 8-port network switch, which connects all my devices together and allows me to create virtual LANs, or VLANs, for network segmentation and isolation. This cost me all in all about $25 on Amazon. However, you may be able to find this used for much cheaper on that same site. While I could, and probably should, upgrade the switch in the future due to some security concerns, which I'll link in the description below, for my use case and the fact that my family and I are the only ones using this network, I think I'll be okay. So once I had all the hardware ready, it was time to install and configure the software. And setting up a home lab, this is, in my opinion, the meat and potatoes of it all. Taking individual operating systems and applications, troubleshooting various issues, optimizing the performance and security of your home lab from the start not only helps you learn about different technologies to boost your career, but also gives you a functioning part of your home network that you can use every day. So going back to my firewall and starting off the software list, OpenSense is an open source router and firewall that provides many features that are essential for a small network, such as network address translation, DHCP, DNS, VPN, and of course, a firewall. Has many plugins also that add much more functionality than your standard small office and home office router, such as AdGuard for network-wide ad blocking, Unbound for your DNS, and various IDS and IPS tools such as Suricata. Next on the list is Proxmox, as I mentioned earlier. This is the software that runs as my main hypervisor. If you plan on running more than one operating system on a machine, then you will need some sort of hypervisor, whether it's type 1 or type 2. I prefer type 1. Some people start off with type 2. If you don't know the difference, check out the description below where I'll just provide a link detailing differences. Proxmox allows me to create and manage multiple virtual machines on a single physical machine using either a web interface or command line tools. It also supports features such as LXC for creating containers directly on the hypervisor, which are similar to Docker containers. Proxmox has a built-in high availability cluster manager and live migration, so if I ever decide to expand into multiple nodes in the future, I can easily do so without the use of additional software. On top of Proxmox, I plan on running various virtual machines that serve different purposes. Currently, I'm running Open Media Vault, which serves as my NAS for my photos, my videos, and my documents that I don't want to store in the cloud. In the past, I have ran virtual machines for logging, such as Splunk and the Elk Stack, followed by vulnerable virtual machines such as Metasploitable, so I could track what happens when using a virtual machine called Kali for pen testing. Other virtual machines, such as Nessus and OpenVAS, can be spun up to track and monitor any potential vulnerabilities, not only just in your home lab, but you can also use them to track vulnerabilities in your home network. There is no limit to what you can run on a hypervisor. The only limitation is based on your hardware capacity and what you can think of. So why did I build my home lab in the first place? What are the benefits of having one? Well, there are many reasons why I think having a home lab is a great idea for anyone who is interested in cybersecurity or information technology in general. Few reasons are learning new skills, both for personal enjoyment and boosting your career, testing new ideas and solutions, and to better safeguard your home network. Most home networks these days fall victim to several cybersecurity attacks that, if and when you learn them yourself, can not only safeguard you, but safeguard your family. Of course, having a home lab is not always fun and games. There are also some challenges and drawbacks that you must deal with when running your own mini data center at home. The biggest hurdle that most people see is cost. A home lab can be expensive to build and maintain. Buying the hardware and potentially the software can add up quickly. Space can also be a factor if you decide to scale up in the future. A home lab can also consume a lot of time and attention, especially as you look into configuring, updating, and troubleshooting it. And the final challenge for your home lab is security, which should be your number one priority when you invest in a home lab. However, as your home lab grows, you'll quickly find that the more operating systems, containers, devices, etc. that you have, the more time you will spend securing your home lab, as well as tinkering and making sure that everything is up to date, secure with the latest patches, and not vulnerable. So in conclusion, I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe possibly learned something new. A home lab is a great way to improve your skills, experiment with new technologies, and have fun, as well as boosting your career. But it does require some planning, a little bit of investment, and some maintenance. It is not a one-time project, but it should be a continuous journey of exploration and improvement. If you want to start or upgrade your own home lab, I hope this video has given you some tips and inspiration. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons to support this channel, and to see more content like this. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.